Respected elders, brothers, sisters. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this function, as well as all of you, for giving me this opportunity to be here with all of you to express a few thoughts of mine. In many ways, I think my task has become easier with the two previous speakers, and I think we must really congratulate them, for they have done a very wonderful job, not just about what is Narendra Modi, but what should a leader be like. Particularly a leader who is going to lead our nation to the greatness which we are destined for. This greatness is not in terms of putting down anybody, but to be able to give them, all of them, a guidance, give them a vision to what can be done as a worldwide. We talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, yes, correct, but what does it mean? These are not just words, but these are a vision which India can give all over the world. And I think this is something that's very important for all of us. When we deal with any issues, when we deal with any problem, we have to really talk about what can be called three I's. As one, I think this was done by Professor Vivek Dehejia. He's a professor in Canada, and I'm just going to a little bit paraphrase. Take it up from there and then say these three I's, although the order that he said was a little different, but this is what I would like to propose. You have ideas, you have institutions, and then you have an individual. What is needed is ideas, good ideas. Not ideas just for the sake of ideas, but a good idea is well articulated, so that everybody is clear, everybody knows what that idea is. It's just not as like saying a slogan, but an idea with a solid content. It was said that Garibi Hatao was an idea. But what does it mean? It's something that was not formulated with the same type of it was not formulated in a way which people would understand. Then you have institutions which take these ideas to the people, and implements them. These institutions are various types. In any democracy, you have an institution of, we have the bureaucracy, but also there are institutions of what I would call intellectuals, which also make a very important contribution for the nation. And finally, we have the individual. After all, it is needed, and individual is needed. But when we have ideas, well thought of ideas and strong institutions, the role of the individuals, becomes that much easier. But without an individual, with these ideas and implementing these ideas through the institutions, that becomes difficult. Well, a long time back, Baba Sahib Ambedkar talked about principles and methods. In case of the communal issue that he was dealing with at that time, he said, the way we're trying to solve this problem is not through principles but methods. There is a problem, just said, apply a method. Now, not knowing, what the principles behind it are, we don't know whether the method will succeed, if it fails, why it has failed. And then because we don't have a principle, we just apply another method just comes to our mind. And therefore, we are all the time floundering, we're just keeping on applying methods and not really coming to a solution. I think Pradeepji has, Vinodji has, I think, expressed, given a lot of good examples, on this aspect. And I really would like to dwell on this. In fact, I would like to make a recommendation to all of you, to listen once these speeches come up on YouTube, please go once again and spend those 40 minutes once more, and listen to them. I think, they're great, really great particular thought process both of them have expressed. Narendra ji has shown this, how to go about doing it. We have had, as I said, institutions, ideas we have. There are some, I think, unfortunately, very bad ideas, like saying the employment guarantee scheme is really a very bad idea. Because just at the time when that employment guarantee scheme was being put up in the nation, in Solapur and Kolhapur, they were discovered, very huge frauds that took place. And the method that the frauds had taken place are exactly the same methods that are today applied to create frauds in this particular national scheme. So the corruption that was happening within Maharashtra went national. And that was not a good idea. I think Narendra ji has shown how to do it. Okay, I think Vinod ji has mentioned. I heard him speak I saw the video later on at the Hindustan Times Leadership Summit in October 2007. And in the presentation he made, I think he said what exactly I think what Vinod ji said. He said, I got all my ideas implemented through the system that was there with me. He did not create a new system. That means he did not get like a set of new people to come and had like mass transfer system, change system, or getting people from outside or getting new people to start implementing implementing his ideas. What he did was he said that he had motivation. What indeed was needed was motivation, and that is what he provided. And I think this is very important. Any politician, I would say anywhere in the world, has to provide that. As a leader, he has to provide that motivation, and once the motivation is provided, people will do good for themselves. Very often, I think many of our principles, many of our objectives are done on the basis that like we don't trust all the rules that are there. We don't trust our own citizens. At the time of the British colonization, it was a necessary. It was necessary for them to do it, because really, no colonial masters, can ever trust the slaves, that exist. So he had to have those rules. Unfortunately, he just carried them on, and we have shown like a great deal of trust. And every time we had to go as citizens, we had to go to the government and said, please, can I do this? They did not trust you that like you will do good for the nation, and that process is going on ahead, or a lot of the time. Then he gave another example of on some aspects of the Human Development Index, particularly related to the malnutrition amongst the girls. That Gujarat did have a problem, and perhaps it's a problem in many other parts of the country also. What he said was, when the data came out, that is when he realized that there is a problem. Now, when the data comes out and the problem, how to deal with it, is what he had, like what we call in the Sanchintan Shibir. He called the people and said, what to do about it. In another case, he mentioned in one of his other presentations, in some talk, that this problem was tackled very well in Kerala. So he asked bureaucrats, saying that why can we not get somebody from Kerala to come and talk to all of us and say that how did they go about doing solving the problem. And when the person came and gave a presentation, he said he and the concerned minister sat as part of the audience to listen to him for 2 hours, so that we also got to know what was going to be the direction of the solution. Afterwards, they went ahead, and for 2 days they had their own discussion. But then when they came back to us, we knew what they were talking about. We not had like something coming out of out of air. So these were the ways I think that Narendra Modi went about doing all these things. Another interesting one that he mentioned in another, I think in one of the talks that he did, he said when he went to the Vanvasi area in Gujarat, and talked to the people over there. So he said, what is it that you want, that you want the state to provide you? You see, again, this is again the interesting particular point that Vinodji made. Garaz purna kara, mangni purna karaychi garaz purna kara, mangni purna karaychi garaz nahi. कारण की एकदा गरज पूर्ण झाली तर मागणी ऑटोमॅटिकली पूर्ण होईल. And that is one very interesting example. This is what I would like to mention to you. The Vanvasi people said, we grow bananas over here. Bananas are exported to Europe. But when we send the bananas by trucks to the port, 20% of the bananas are crushed. And we lose all them. And 20%, you can just imagine people in the industry, what 20% waste means. Because you have already incurred the expenditure on making the bananas. You already incurred the expenditures on sending the bananas to the port. So all those particular 20% became zero value. So all that particular cost had to be then shared on the 80%. So what they wanted was, he said, that like paver road hame diji. That's all they want. That was the only simple particular request from the Vanvasi. okay, to the Chief Minister. Unfortunately, after that he made one very important particular observation. He said, if these are the aspirations of the people of our country, that all that they're seeking is something like this, I have a great hope in our nation. And that was very important. And if you see over there, these aspirations that are people that I have are not something related to rocket science. They have simple aspirations. Even on education for for the children, parents have very simple aspirations. Schools, there are to provide us some some decent toilets to the children. It will be easier for the children to go and schools and make their life easier. They don't want to take a great infrastructure in some of this. Unfortunately, when the case of the Vanvasi area, one of the pointed out that all heard of was Narendra Modi talking about bananas and not talking about the aspirations. And I think this is what is happening today in our country. A great deal of effort is being made to try and dismiss, taking statistics, to try and to take some vague statistics. Like when Narendra ji talked about the issue of malnutrition in Gujarat of the women. One of the points that he made over there that today the girls are fashion conscious and they don't want to drink milk. Now he was not meaning it to be in a negative. He was stating a problem. Now the problem is there. To do how and then he said about how do we deal with this problem? Because if you don't understand that, like if you tell a child to drink milk and the child refuses to drink milk, and you say no, that's the only way to get malnutrition, then what do? The malnutrition problem will go on. So you understand the full problem and then deal with it, and then what in the in some ways I think both the previous speakers made my job so that I don't have to spend some time. So let me take another few minutes of yours to talk about what is to be done next. You see that I think many times in the particular talks we talk about Gujarat growth in terms of economic parameters. Their GDP has grown by so much, investments of so much, some job creation. But let us all understand, you see, materialism is not the only thing that people want. They want something more than materialism. Like we say that like materialism would mean that we have to we follow the philosophy of Rishi Charvak. You see, and it would lead to hedonism. It has been seen in many parts of the world. What we are all seeking for is justice, which is which materialism is a part of, but is best by the term Ram Rajya. You see, and see what is done. And in some ways also here some of the aspects talked about in the case of malnutrition. And here I would like to mention one point, I think, which is something that is very, very rarely talked about. I mean, you see, Narendra ji did mention it in one of his speeches, long time back, but it's not being repeated, and there's even in the book, I think, there is a mention of it, but not to the extent that I would have liked it. And that is the issue of the evening courts. In one of his speeches that I heard this, what was the need for the evening court? Because he said, there were a lot of cases that are there. This is a normal part of perhaps the society, where people have to spend, poor people have to spend the whole day, working day, sitting in the courts. Now, what it means for them is that they are losing their income for the day. So he said, what is the solution to this problem? So they said, we have this infrastructure of our justice, of the courts, at all levels, right from high court, to the court as low as level as possible, and these are lying vacant during the during the evening periods. Why can we not make use of it? Then he went and talked to the judges, to the Chief Justice, said this is a particular problem. Can we make this use of this courts? He went and talked to the Lawyers Association and everywhere, and he got everybody to them on the table, and got with them. Said that this is something that is going to be good for the people of Gujarat. You see, so some amount of inconvenience perhaps maybe have to be accepted, but we'll find a solution to that as far as this one. But something that is going to benefit the people of Gujarat is going to be, it should be in the interest of all of us. And by doing this one simple step, the number of pending cases has been brought down quite significantly, in Gujarat. Perhaps Gujarat is the only state which has that record in this, for all this. Unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned, I'm very unhappy that the Chief Justice of India has not taken note of this scheme, and then said to all the states and to all the Chief Justices and everyone in the country involved with the judicial system, why can we not implement this model over here? You see, and if this is going to help the people bring down, we hear justice, various people in various judiciary conferences talking about large number of pending cases, but here is an example where the pending cases have been reduced. So that why can we not do, take steps like this? See, and this is what is important. In fact, when to CII, I once had recommended that why don't CII send a team to Gujarat? This was much before, I think, nearly 5 years ago. And said, okay, why don't we, find out how Gujarat has gone about doing all the things that they have done, for which, with some very positive, visual impact is seen, and even the hope that is seen amongst the people. And why can we not do, put all these particular schemes and apply them to the rest of the other parts of the state? Unfortunately, I don't think that the person concerned at CII really understood, what I was talking about. Perhaps, that time, the things were not, appear to be as bad as they are today, and I hope, today we have to understand. Vinodji talked about the background of Narendra ji, and that is also going to be very important. You see, we see this within the Sangh, the sanskars that are provided by the Sangh. I think this has been acknowledged by Narendra ji himself in his book Jyoti Punj, where he mentions RSS, various particular RSS leaders in Gujarat who have inspired him. And I think this is also perhaps a book that would be very useful to be brought out. It's a Gujarati book, perhaps a good book to be translated into Marathi and other languages. And these are the people who have molded him. So I must think we must understand, that Narendra ji is, projecting a hope for all of us. Narendra ji is because things are very bad. We all know that. But for the first time, I think we are seeing that there is a particular person who has shown that what can be done. And I think that hope is something that's going to drive our country forward, and that hope is something that is going to make our country great. And we do need to have have this particular hope, and the programs which we see today, like within the in all these things, I think the programs are getting articulated. This is one very good step that has been taken. There's a good discussion that is happening in the country. And I hope the intellectuals, amongst the intellectuals who have unfortunately made it into a deliberate program of trying to negate what is happening in Gujarat. And I hope that the intellectuals do rise up, and these books like this, I think will give them particular data, some thoughts for which they see that why people are having hope. And so I will end here, and I once again thank all of you for listening, and I particularly like to thank Dr. Sharad Kunte for taking this. I'm sure it's a very important effort that he has put in, and to come out to the book in this book. And I'd like to also thank I'd also like to Ravindra Gharpani, I think, for taking the effort and agreeing to come out publication. And I hope this book reaches out to a very large section of the people, not wherever Marathi speaking people are there, and they understand what is happening in our country. Thank you very much.